They say the fog on Ngong Hills moves against the wind. It's a strange, unnatural sight, a gray blanket that suffocates the landscape with a chilling silence. But that's not the most terrifying thing. The locals, they have a warning. If you're hiking those trails as dusk settles, and you hear footsteps behind you, don't turn around. Whatever you do, keep walking, because if you turn, it's already too late. This isn't just a ghost story told around a campfire. It's a legend that haunts the very slopes of the Ngong Hills, a place where reality and nightmare blur. At the heart of it all stands a decaying colonial mansion, perched on the misty edges, a relic of a bygone era. It's home to a reclusive billionaire, a man no one has ever really seen. His existence is a mystery, wrapped in shadows and guarded by an impenetrable wall of fear. The people in the nearby villages don't talk about him much, at least not openly. But when they do, their voices drop to a whisper. They talk about strange things, things that make your blood run cold. Goats found in the morning, completely drained of blood, without a single mark on them. Hikers, full of life and adventure, who decide to watch the sunset from the peaks and are never seen again. Their cars are found, their gear is found, but they just vanish, and then there's the shadow. A tall, dark figure seen moving through the trees only when the fog rolls in, a silent predator in the mist. These stories, these whispers of the hills, eventually reach the busy newsrooms of Nairobi. Most dismiss them as folklore, rural superstition. But one investigative journalist, a man named Ken, couldn't let it go. He was known for his skepticism, for digging into stories others were too afraid to touch. The pattern was too consistent, the disappearances too real. So, he packed his bag, his camera, and his recorder, and drove towards the looming silhouette of the Ngong Hills, determined to separate fact from fiction. Ken started where all good investigations do, with the people. He spoke to elders in the villages, farmers, and the few guides brave enough to still take tourists up the trails. The fear was palpable. They told him the man in the mansion wasn't just a rich recluse, they called him something else, an ancient evil. They spoke of a curse, one that tied the man to the hills, a pact made centuries ago. As Ken pieced together the fragments of the story, a terrifying picture began to emerge. The disappearances weren't random, the bloodless goats weren't a fluke. It all pointed back to the mansion and its mysterious owner. Driven by a mix of journalistic duty and a growing sense of dread, Ken decided he had to get closer. He waited for the cover of dusk, the time when the hills were said to come alive. As he made his way up the winding path towards the mansion, the air grew heavy and cold. The usual sounds of the wild, the insects, the night birds all fell silent. It was just the sound of his own breathing and the crunch of his boots on the gravel. The fog, thick and disorienting, swirled around him, just as the legends described, moving in strange, unnatural ways. From a hidden vantage point, he watched the mansion. It was even more decrepit up close, windows like hollow eyes staring into the darkness. And then he saw it. A figure emerged onto a balcony, silhouetted against the dim light from within, the shadow from the stories. Tall, impossibly still, exuding an aura of ancient power. Ken's journalistic skepticism evaporated, replaced by a primal fear. The stories were true, all of them. The man in the mansion, the reclusive billionaire, was centuries old, a creature sustained by blood, bound to this land by a curse that demanded a terrible price. He was a vampire, the blood count of Ngong Hills. Suddenly, Ken felt a chill that had nothing to do with the night air. He wasn't alone. The very hills around him seemed to be watching, the trees twisting into monstrous shapes, the wind whispering his name. He realized the curse wasn't just on the man, it was on the land itself. The hills were alive, and they were protecting their master. Ken had followed the trail of the disappeared, and in doing so, he had walked directly into the heart of the nightmare. The hunter had become the hunted. As a low growl echoed from the shadows behind him, Ken knew he had uncovered the terrifying truth. Now, the only question was whether he would live to tell it. Thank you for watching. If you're fascinated by dark legends and chilling mysteries, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss what we uncover next. Stay curious, and stay safe.